there's an emergency, I wouldn't be able to get a hold of you. You never answer your phone. And this is the last thing you need to hear at that particular moment because you're going through what you're going through mentally. You're trying to register what you're doing. You know what I mean? So it's like, how I'm trying to register this. I cannot talk to you, and you come to me, and you're getting an attitude with me about not picking up my phone the one time I didn't pick it up. Like, so we deal with a lot. We deal with a lot more that people that people give us credit for or understand that we go through as men. And so it's just like when you're in a relationship, sometimes that person needs to register in their head, how is he feeling right now? Not how I'm feeling. I'm gonna be selfish. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. I don't care what you're feeling like right now. Sometimes you need to sit there and say, you know what? I know he must be going through a lot right now. He's dealing with a lot right now. So you know what? I'm not even gonna stir the pot right now. I'm not even gonna go there with him. A lot of women don't do that in relationships. A lot of women just want to get their point across, not knowing what a man is dealing with. And so, that's one part of it. One part of it right there.
Thank you, PhD, for your input. It's valued. Not it. Oh,
Okay.
okay, go ahead, baby.
I definitely understand the isolation because um I've been pretty much isolated my entire life.
Mm.
Because when I was like 7, I had to have surgery because complications, and I was in a hospital for like 3 months. But since the hospital was like not really close to any family, I rarely see anybody from that age, and that's pretty much the time I got into like playing video games, and that was my
Gotcha.
solitude. That's my go-to. And soon after I got out, like not even a full year, my grandmother died.
Mm.
So that brought me further into isolation. So growing up, all I known was isolation, and my loneliness is my solitude. So
Wow.
for somebody that wouldn't understand that, that's why I said I could be experiencing what most people would deem is, depression, and I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't know it because I've normalized it. It's what I always know. So I
Wow.
can definitely understand that isolation point of view because that's pretty much my entire life.
So, do
And
you,
I don't.
when you hear topics like this being talked about, does it actually help you to start recognizing that there may be some things that you're doing and it's tied to depression?
Oh yeah, especially when
Okay. Go ahead, Fear.
Um, I think, can you hear me okay? I think Rachel
Mm-hmm.
pointed out a good point. She said that I've had somebody tell me that they don't express themselves because they don't want to sound like a bitch. A lot of the times it's hard to say how you feeling as a man if the woman or the person, the support team we're going to talk about looks at you as somebody who's supposed to be able to figure everything out. So I can't express what's going on or what's really eating at me because the only answer I'm gonna get is, well, you know what to do. You'll be able to figure it out. So it's hard. Like it's better when you have different brothers. Like I got a gang of brothers. We talk about stuff that gets to us, so we can bounce off of each other. But I can't. Sometimes you go to your helpmeet or your partner, and you be like, baby, this, that, or the third, but it'll hurt them. Like a lot of the times I tell females, I'll be like, look, I can't tell you everything that's going on with me because it'll weigh too much on you because you'll start to think that I can't control the situation we're in. But all I need is some reassurance that I don't have in me right now that I need from you. But y'all don't ever, I'm not going to say y'all, but most don't ever know how to really reassure. All they know how to say is, well, you're supposed to figure it out for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the support team that you have has to be able
Or they
to.
want you to be strong, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And they
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
look for that part of you. And everything else is out the window because after that it's like, okay, well, he might not be a real man. Like you hear women say, well, a real man will do this or a real man will do that. At that point in time where I'm feeling weak, I don't need somebody telling me what a real man will do to try to say that I'm not a real man. because I've done everything that needs to be done. But in this moment of weakness, you know what I'm saying? I need somebody to say, look, this is how you can handle it, or I understand what you're.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah. Um,
Sorry, we're in a deep conversation. No jokes today. Go ahead, Ariel.
yeah. Kind of piggybacking off what the man before me just said is when you dealing with this depression, and I could say for me too personally, I got PTSD, doc. So
Mm-hmm.
I took from you one time. You said don't look for the red flags. Try to look for,
Try to look for
be
the
more to
green.
flags. Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
I still here and there. I know it's work, but sometimes when s- uh, a woman, or somebody you may be speaking to says the comment, "Oh, that's not a real man,"
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what I've been through. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm
Right.
protect. I done protected and served, and you say you're not a real man. How much real does it get? Somebody, you know what I mean? That's what I think. Some.
Yeah. And what
I
you've
don't-
gone through, but
Yeah,
it's not a relatable experience because we haven't gone through it.
right. So I,
Mm-hmm.
I, I really, really don't say nothing about it, or I really don't
Mm-hmm.
speak on it. I just do the best I can to keep it to myself, and I might give a look and be
So
like,
you suppress too. You suppress too then.
yeah, yeah. And
So
I
has there ever what is your outlet? What so you don't suppress? Have you ever identified like what is your outlet? What is your thing? Or do you have a go to? Okay, thank you, Smurfy.
not
Do you
all the
have a person?
not
Mhm.
all the time. And that's it. I have some people that I do yes speak to and thank you, but sometimes I'm just like I'm just gonna let it marinate and just
Mm, I hear you. Okay, baby.
I don't believe like you could really like just have an outlet for the whole thing because
No,
like I said, my solitude is the game, but
that's your
it
release.
don't take care of everything,
Okay.
because it's like hard to explain because you'll you'll be going about your day like as you would do normally. Then it'll be like short instances or like little bursts of like you just feeling like down
Mm-hmm.
for no reason at all. Like then you just start going through the motions and eventually it just goes away. You suppress that too. And then it never get dealt with and it just stacks up. Continuously stacks up. So
I
I'm
would love to hear you guys go from the suppressing to possibly finding some solutions that can help each other to kind of like if you see the signs, here's some things you can do.
but see it's kind of weird for me because I
You don't know. Come back,
Well, we know what some of the solutions. So all my veterans in here, like we know.
especially
Okay,
our
so
veterans.
before I go into that whole spiel, I'm gonna say this, right? So men process things a lot different than women do, right? So
Right.
women in the relationship with the man, please stop telling him how he should respond to certain things because he's going to respond in his own way. And his own way doesn't mean wrong. So stop shaming a man for not reacting the way that you were reacting in the situation because we are all different. We are all unique. Don't be sitting here like, yeah, you were there, but you could have done this or you could have did that. It's like you're shaming me for being there for you, but not in the way that you wanted me to. So women,
That
stop
you
doing that
needed
to men
it.
because it's
Hmm.
unfair. It's unfair that men should have to go through that type of because in the end of the day, men can be verbally abused too. So
True.
people don't believe
True.
that, right? We can talk about physical abuse. People look at physical abuse as a man as that being true, but men can be verbally abused, and after a while, you grow a very stone interior in your brain, right? You put all these barriers up, and you just lacking even more emotions, in which we already lack of being a man, right? Because we're very logical thinkers. And the second thing I want to add is, um, We all have, and we were all ashamed to getting out of the military because I was in September 11th, and I experienced all of that stuff, right? So like we have the crisis hotline, right? So we can't reach out to people that we know, like call that number and talk to somebody just to get it off your chest. I mean, we all know we can do that. So I just,
Veterans Crisis Hotline. Good morning. Welcome to the stream.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, I agree with what they're saying. I'm a veteran as well, but
Okay.
it's before that. Because men are kind of how society sets stuff up, are kind of taught or forced to suppress from a young age. Like it's if you take
Right.
time to talk to a lot of teenagers these days, how many, especially male ones, have been
Don't
either
cry.
touched on,
Yeah.
stabbed, shot, seen somebody get
Hmm.
shot, seen somebody do some crazy stuff from a young age. They do that and they don't talk about it for one, the fear of example, my mom. There's several things I told her to happen. Like for I had stabbed when I was like 17. I didn't tell her until I was 23 because she already worried
Wow.
about the world. But you don't
Right.
feel comfortable either being vulnerable yourself or having other people who worry about you having to worry about you because you're a man, you know.
Hmm.
And then when it
Wow.
comes to like suppression and relationships, it's a lot of people that, again, like he was saying, how somebody is expressing something is the way they don't, so they get sharp with their tongue and
Right.
lack of words of affirmation. If you want somebody to be vulnerable, 'cause I've only had two or three people I could be super vulnerable with. The words of affirmation, their catering, their understanding was deep. They learn the way I think, and I learn the way they think. So it's a lot of that that has
Hmm.
to also be.
This is good, guys. Thank you so much for sharing. Like sincerely from my heart, I appreciate you. Go ahead, BB.
Yeah, but the way you suppress it, like like Logic said, like me, well, me personally, like I subconsciously suppress it. Like I said, I'll be
Hmm.
feeling some type of way. Then, like Logic said, at a certain point, for a man to cry, it's pretty much like force. You gotta force yourself to cry because you'll feel that, but subconsciously you fighting it.
Yeah.
You
So
can't
you
you
don't
can't
even allow yourself to release.
yeah, you subconsciously fighting the release because that's not what you're supposed to do. That's not what you are. You're supposed to be you're not supposed to be this. So you're trying to do it, but you're fighting it at the same time. So it's hard to even do that. So
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact, like I said, I'll feel some type of way, then the feeling just gone like that without even getting the release because I
Wow.
already
So you got a lot
subconscious.
of buildup then.
Oh yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
an introvert and
Mm.
I don't even talk to my family like that.
Wow. That's huge.
wow.
Okay.
You're gonna be good, Blackbeard. So, okay, so just going into scientific data and research over personalities and behavior, right? So the
Hmm.
twin adoption studies and stuff like that, right? Personality is 40% genetic and 60% environmental, right? And so a lot of it's at fault for us men, especially in single family households, right? Because a lot of us are not in an environment where we were shown love. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I remember growing up as a kid, my mom was like, if you don't graduate school, you got to move out. Even though she didn't really, like I'm just saying, like it was tough love. Like I didn't get like, like you see you see like the white people in the movies that you sitting down, like, let me talk to you, Johnny. Come on, let's give me a hug and let's go over your homework. I didn't have that lifestyle at all. Right. My
Yeah.
mom had to be the foundation for taking care of four kids, and she was there for us, and she gave us whatever we need, even if it was a bare minimum. But she never showed us that type of love. Like my grandmother died when I was 15 years old. So my grandmother was the one that showed all the grandkids equal love, and she was there for
Got
everybody.
you.
But
Got you.
depending on the upbringing, not having that, right, you don't really know how to showcase that. And sometimes you can see yourself as funny. Some guys, we'll be watching TV and we'll see something loving going on in the movie, and then all of a sudden you'll see like one subconscious tear fall down, like, damn, I wish I had that life, but I didn't have it. But now I have to learn how to become that person. I have to learn how to live that life now, even though it was never shown to me, right?
Wow.
So we let movies kind of show us how things should be
The
and not our own
guide.
stories.
That's huge. Wow. Wow. That's huge.
Uh,
Hmm.
this time when I speak, I'm gonna speak on like skill sets. I think when we talk about the mental thing about depression, we have to have tools to fight it mentally. So first, I'm a believer. My Bible tells me to put on the garment of praise for the spirit of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Always do that first. But throughout the day, we must affirm ourselves as men. We must do that because there's
You
so much
definitely have to affirm yourself.
as men, but we have to know what man we are because we're not the man that society says because we're unique. I'm a unique man. Some of us are flashy men. Some of us work hard, like with our hands. Others know how to organize well. You have to affirm the man that you are inside. Secondly, you have to have you a group of people that can speak into your life as well as you speak into theirs. Because for some reason, when we as men get together, I've learned this in the workplace. It's more about the worldly things, what a woman looks like, this, that, or the what I'm saying, like sports and all this. But nobody's really talking about things that'll help you build inside. It wasn't until I got into a group of old schools where they was like, youngster, listen, this is what you need to do in order to get to this level in life. And so you need that group of people that can speak into your life and help you grow internally too.
Hello. So, I just actually came back and I started when we first started. When you first started, I was listening to your, and then I got into a whole verses. But actually, the conversation I was just having with a gentleman was mental health, right? How us as men, we're not taught to process our emotions, right? So a lot of men do not know how to process their emotions, and instead, what they do is they become reactionary and react out, right? Um, and it's interesting because we need to create the rites of passage where the older men are showing the younger men how to move through these challenges that they may have moved through, and where we have acquired wisdom and experience in our own lives. Like, we need that transfer of information to happen. It's I see it's vitally important because what's happening is
Yes,
a lot of young men out here that are moving like zombies, right?
they are.
Like you just said, manhood is something that's earned, so it's something that you have to learn. That means you have to understand the boundaries in which you should be learning in. Far too often, the men out here don't even understand the boundary lines, right?
Right,
So
right. That's huge. That they- okay. I'm trying to remember the date, y'all, because I don't want to have to go. Good morning. Welcome to the stream.
Hello, good morning.
Good
Hello.
morning. Did you come to be a part of the
Pleasure,
conversation?
pleasure,
Did you come to
pleasure
be a
being
part of the
here.
conversation?
Yes, pleasure being here.
Okay, we ready.
So, what is the topic?
It's a lot of
What is the,
background noise,
what
so
is the topic?
it's hard to hear you. If you don't know the topic, I'm gonna date you and put you in the comments so you can listen. We're talking about depression
Okay.
and how men are handling it. But I want to keep the flow of the conversation going. Okay, let's go. All right, thank
Okay.
you.
Um, yeah, I definitely see the point of like not receiving, because that's pretty much why I probably don't know how to give it, like give affection, give that emotion, because I never really received it. So I don't know, you know.
Are you willing to learn from the right hands? Are you willing to learn if you feel safe in the hands that you're like the woman's hands that you're with? If you deem yourself to feel like this is a good place, like I feel vulnerable. Let me try to see if she's able to show me something different. Are you open to that?
And see that's where the complications comes in at, because being me and being alone is all I know.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't even know where to begin to trust somebody
Mm,
to like even open myself up to give them me,
that's huge.
because I'm so used to being alone and
By
by
yourself.
myself and doing everything for me. I
Mm,
don't feel safe.
Mm. So so I can have a moment to, oh shoot, did you just hop in the box? PhD, come back. Or hop in the guest box while I talk real quick, and then I put the date box, the date box back up. Um, I just wanted to say this like really, really quick because I wanted to make sure that for every man that has come into the date box, I want to thank you first and foremost for your transparency, um, for you being honest, for you speaking to your experience. I from my heart, I thank you. I want to definitely be able to say that I can't necessarily say that I understand because I'm not a man. I don't understand your journey, but my purpose in doing streams like this, in creating this safe space for men to come and to actually speak is because I do really genuinely want to learn, and this is how I lead my life, even within my relationships. I want to create this space so that you can be heard, so that even in friendship, relationship, whatever, I can be what is needed to be a part of that support system. So I really want to thank you for being present and being open to be a part of this stream. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like what Black was saying, it's hard if you're a man, right, and you've evolved into manhood and you understand what it means to like take care of your own, be responsible, but you're not in a relationship, you're not in a committed relationship. To some degree, after a particular period of time, it does become hard to readjust. It's just like anyone, women too. It becomes hard to readjust back into a setting where you're actually sharing everything with someone because you become so accustomed to doing everything on your own. It's the same thing the women are saying, right? Women say,
Same
hey,
thing.
if I'm paying my bills, I got my own car, I got my own household, what I need you for? Well, that's
That
because
adjustment is something.
we come from a place of self-sufficiency. But even in that self-sufficiency, you still have to create the balance in your life to have that other partner, allow that other partner to come in. You know, that's why I say you have to be somewhere in the middle. Yeah, it's scary. It's harder for a man. The reality is, I think it's harder to some degree for a man to really be 100% vulnerable than it is a woman
Mm,
because of the landscape that we live in, right?
mm,
It's for a man, it's a he's dealing with a take-all situation a lot of times until he figures out that right one, right? That's for him. So it's one of those landscapes where that's why you see a lot of guys are like standoffish. A lot of guys are like hold up, like, they want to understand what they're getting themselves into. They're not just rushing into things anymore.
yeah,
Those
I see that a
days are like,
lot. Mhm.
yeah, those days are like, that's traditional courting, right? The guy like falling headlong into the relationship and doing everything that the woman wants. But the problem is there's no reciprocation on the woman's part.
Mhm.
So it creates these situations like where we're now moving through this space where we're going through relationships, picking up collateral damage. We're not addressing the damage, right? We're falling into these minds of these states of depression and trying to figure out how to deal with our emotions because those emotions are bottled up. Every time you go into a situation with someone, think about it. Every time you go into a situation with someone, there's exchange of DNA, there's exchange of energy. And if
Facts.
those emotions, you're dealing with someone who's toxic and those emotions are toxic, those emotions are going to be pent up until you process them, until you deal with them,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
let me get out your box now. That's all I want to do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll put the date box back up. I wanted to reset that date box because sometimes you have to allow the flow to adjust before it did. But yeah, I definitely want to make sure that I tell you guys I appreciate you so much. Go ahead.
Hey, I wanted to go back to one of the brothers introduced the word affirmation to the
Yes.
conversation. I forgot who it was.
That was
Which I thought,
that was Bird down here.
okay, which I thought was interesting. One, because I mentioned this in my stream yesterday, and I asked the question in the comment section: How does a man affirm himself? And uh,
I was
and
gonna
and
speak on that too.
and I believe a part of, and I know you're going to get into the depths of it, but I believe a part of it isn't just because it became like a trendy thing. A part of it isn't just through words, right? Just waking up in the morning, looking in the mirror, and saying these things to ourselves, right? Um, um,
Yeah.
I, there's this book that I was reading, and it said, "Faith without works is dead." Along with those
Yeah.
affirmations, especially for men, you have to do something. You have to build something,
You have to do
right?
something.
A man feels better when he does something, right? When a man performs better and he feels better about himself when he actually puts the work in, and he can look at the fruits of his labor by what he built. And I've noticed that as far as women are concerned, a woman performs better when she feels better, when she,
When she
you
feels
know,
good.
you know what I'm saying. So it's like, it's for men, especially even in the midst of our depression, like work needs to be applied.
I love that you're saying that. I know this box did not break. So I love that you're saying that, because one of the things that I want to give a key point to when it comes to self affirmation is that as a man, I believe that definitely it is in your works, but what is it that you believe about yourself? If you believe that you can conquer and you can overcome things, and this is something that you're telling yourself, and stop telling yourself the things that you can't do, you're pushing forward and you're moving and you're making these progressions. What ends up happening is that when you're believing in yourself, just like if we fix our hair, put on makeup, put on the right clothes, and we like, oh, we feel good about ourselves, we can go out here and conquer the world. You in essence have clothed yourself in such a way to where now you believe a thing about yourself and you're moving like that. And that is a measure of how I have seen men, especially the men in my life, affirm themselves, who are men just like you. So that is one key point that I wanted to share. That is a way that you affirm yourself. It's your faith measure, and it's you putting things in action for yourself as well. I put the date box up. Hopefully it won't keep breaking. Thank you, real. Yeah. So that is so huge. So huge. Go ahead, Bird.
Yeah, I'm with y'all, man. It for me, and I can only speak through experience. I know when I was young, I trained myself for everything that I wanted in life, like as far as being a good man towards a woman, or starting to establish myself as a man. Period. I put a timeline on it, and so now that I'm reaching an age where my establishment or my goals have to be met, when I look back and tell myself inside, when the depression comes and says, "Boy, you ain't did nothing with your life," I'd be like, "But I've established this. I used to be just in my mama's house. Now I'm outside my mama's house. I used to be walking around. Now I have a car. You know what I'm saying? Like just small things like that. And I can remind myself I'm still a growing man. I'm growing into what I know that I want to be. But depression is always going to come in and say, look, you still don't have this, or you still don't have that, based off of what I see somebody else having. But I know that what their goals wasn't mine. But inside, it's like I'm looking at them like, why ain't I there yet? Why haven't I still established myself to this point? But then I have to remind myself, as much as it took me to grow to where I've gotten to, if I wanted to get to that place, then I have to affirm myself that I will get there. Because why? Because I have the work ethic that I put in to get something out of it. So I have that. For me, affirming myself isn't just with words, but the understanding of where I've been, where I'm going, and what I've already achieved.
So this is really good, and actually, it's very interesting that we are talking about work, because um, to stay within and kind of like to put a subtopic to what we're talking about is, did you come to add to be a part of the conversation, or you just jumped in my day box?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you. So with that, I want to be able to focus on the fact that many of you men have a work ethic. Many of you men are career focused, and it's your drive. And so one of the most common thing that I have found, it just even in my career, when I talk and I'm at social networking and everything, is that I find that there's sometimes that your work could be the heaviest thing that you're dealing with, that actually is probably creating some stress within your life. Um, it may be bugging you, like it has this heavy, impact and everything on you. There may be some frustrations that's tied to it. And so with that, when it comes to something that is designed to affirm who you are, because in essence your work, right? um right, so that's my thing, like this, your work is in essence supposed to be your passion, but what happens when you in essence, so this was my next thing, Picasso, good morning Flex, is what happens when you lose that drive. I would love to be able to talk about that for a moment, and I do have another point that I want to talk about, because I wanted to talk about three, and I thank you so much. But what happens when the thing that gives you so much great honor, what do you do? What is your solution? Or what has caused you? What have you recognized that has caused you to lose drive? And what is your solution to be able to come out of losing that drive and getting back on path to regain that focus? Because I understand that with men, and like we were saying earlier, we were talking about depression, and a lot of times what you guys do, whether you're business entrepreneurs, business owners, whether you are career focused, you're out here on your hustle, when things alter, and you may have this passion for doing what you do, sometimes it can become very overwhelming, and then that thing that was once like boom boom boom, you was getting it and you was excited about it, now it's like, oh god, I'm dreading this. So definitely would love to be able to talk about your work ethic, your work drive, how when you find yourself being able to, you start going in that downward spiral, how do you pull yourself out of that place so that you can get back focused? You have to be an anchor. Very, that is very, very interesting that you said that. Please, box, stop breaking. Yesterday the box was breaking like this, and I sometimes taking a break, regrouping. Okay, I think we're
Oh,
going.
okay,
There
it
we
didn't
go.
break.
Yeah.
I think in order to get past some of this stuff, especially if you feel like you're alone, because a lot of us are, so even some people that are depressed are extroverts, right? So you get into a crowd, you get around other people, nobody sees anything because of the way you are. You're very social. You know what I mean? So nobody looks at you and be like, something looks like they're wrong. They would never know. And a lot of times until you get by yourself, you get into your house and there's quiet and there's peace, you don't sit there, then you sit there and you reevaluate yourself and think about certain things. And so I think that one thing to do, I think it helps. Meditation helps. I think that looking at yourself and telling yourself, who are you ultimately doing this for? Because at the end of the day, you're doing this for yourself. And so one thing you can't
Period.
do, going through a state of depression, because when you're going through depression and everything that everybody does on the outside kind of has an effect on you, you're kind of temporarily giving the power from yourself to all these different facets, all these different people, right? They can control. It's almost like a puppet master, right? These people are controlling your emotions, and sometimes you can't help that. Sometimes subconsciously it happens, but meditation is definitely a good key. And then looking at yourself and giving yourself those affirmations, because if nobody else is giving them to you at a certain point, you have to learn to get into an independent state to give those to yourself to kind of keep you from going down that very dark rabbit hole. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
work for everybody, but it's just one facet. Like working out, distractions, stuff like that can definitely get your.
Yeah. I
Just
gave the next person a little time just to piggyback off of what he was saying, because Kenzo said that I think it's important to have vision in all areas of life. Take time out of your day, week, month to measure yourself against yourself. And I think that's very important, because when we talk about
Mhm.
drive, when we talk about being motivated, and you're doing this for you, never forget
Right,
you in the process, is all I want to say. Go ahead.
absolutely. So again, your question was, what is it you do when you lose the drive? Correct.
What do you
Um,
do?
I think one of the most dangerous things we do, which we mentioned early on, is isolation. Right?
Isolation.
Isolation is the
Mm.
worst thing that we can do, and that's typically still that's typically what we still dwell in. And the fact of the matter is, like, yo, we need each other for real. Like
For
we need
real.
each other for real, because I've developed relationship in this app alone with men who are very healthy. You know what I'm saying? And
Awesome.
when I'm down, they're able to pull me to the side and speak to me as men would speak to me, not like a woman would speak. Just
Right.
wholesomely nurturing. These guys call me sometimes like, dude, you tripping, pick yourself up, like you're slacking. You should, but
That's
I know it's
good.
all rooted in love. So the fact of the matter is, during the times that we that I lose drive, another person is needed. Like you can't develop drive.
Mhm.
Well, it's not likely that a person develops drive by himself. There's inspiration that's needed. There's the strength of someone else who's stronger in whatever other area is needed. But I hate the fact that we're in the era of just doing everything yourself, and that's not
Right.
that's not the way in which
It's not
we
it,
operate.
right?
We
I
don't
don't want to do
operate like that.
everything by
Nah,
myself.
nah.
Okay, so the example that I want to give to a lot of people, so think about this, right? So we're gonna say that the toddler experiment, and I'm gonna explain to what this is, right? So how many people in here, nieces, nephews, kids, or whatever the case may be, when they fall to the ground, what's the first thing they do? The first thing they do is look up at you to see how you're gonna respond, right? And if you tell your kid or your nephew or whoever it is, you say, hey, get up. You ain't anything wrong with you. You're not hurt. They get up, they dust themselves off, and they move on. But if your kid looks at you and the first thing you do is, oh my God, are you okay? They start crying. They start hollering, and you got to go to them and you got to console them and you got to cuddle them and say, hey, it's going to be okay. They look at you for answers, they look at you for affirmation. And so sometimes tough love is the best remedy for a lot of these situations because sometimes you don't need that person to coddle you and get into your funk. You don't need that person to be like, okay, let me get down to your level and let me go through this with you and maybe some way you'll come out of this. No, sometimes you need those people that's going to say, hey, look, right? Life is more important than this situation. This is a very isolated situation. Pick yourself up and move forward with this, right? You don't have time to sit there and be like, oh, woe is me. No, woe is me, fool. Get up and move forward. Because the only way you can move forward is to get out of that funk and get out of that stage that you're in. So, like I said, it's a toddler experiment, right? How a person when you look at a person for their response, how they respond is definitely how you're going to act. So you kind of have to move past that. You kind of can't be that person that's looking for somebody to gravitate to you and pull them to your level. Nobody wants to be pulled down to a state of depression and pulled down to this funk. Sometimes we need words of affirmation to get us out of these stages. And sometimes being tough and saying, hey, bro, I got you. I got your back. But we ain't about to be in this little funky ass stage of yours. We gonna move up and we gonna get out of it. That's what you need sometimes, especially men. Sometimes as men, we need that.
Um, for me, I there was a time I was, I'm in ministry, so I was at this high of ministry, and I was like, okay, and then I was seeing myself fall off, so I had to go talk to my dad. My dad, very intelligent man, I believe in. He put a wave on a graph, like on the board. He said, your life is like this. You were at a climax, and now you're reaching a downward slope. He says, when you get to this bottom of this downward slope, the only thing you need is discipline until you work yourself back up to your high again. So for me, it was the fact that I needed discipline because at that low state, I'm like, God, what am I like, why am I still doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not preaching like I want to be preaching, or I'm not, I'm not going out witnessing, doing all these things like that. And for a second, it was like, okay, is my time done? Like, am I done with the work that you had for me? But when he told me that, he was like, this is where you'll either falter and you're reading, you'll falter and you're praying and stuff like that. And like I said, I can only speak for myself on it. But he was like, at that place, you have to discipline yourself until you find the joy of it again. Because for a second, I lost the joy of what I was doing. And so when I started to begin to read again, and then the words speak to me again, then I remembered, oh God, I do love you. I forgot that when I go to your word, I get happy. I forgot when I pray and talk to you that I get excited about what I'm doing for you. So it took that discipline and coming out of that stage of me just saying, oh, well, there's nothing left for me to do, in order to move back up into my towards another climax of my life in ministry.
That's good. I think that is a great thing to be able to understand that much of what we do go through in our fleshly lives. Those that are believers understand that we do go through these spiritual battles, and so we definitely do have to position ourselves in a reality. Is that on the surface it looks like everything is but coming against you, but in reality that those things that are happening, that there's a purpose. on the other side of your pain too. And so I like the fact that you are sharing that in all things. It's like sometimes we don't need to necessarily address the pain, but we need to become advocates that basically we're about to overcome whatever you're going through is happening. It is what it is, right? And so we recognize that, but the solution is that we have to be able to overcome it. And so to be able to start to affirm and to speak to that, because we know that there is so much power in the words that we speak. So as we're speaking to that and we're speaking the positivity that is needed to produce the energy that we need to hear, that we need to resonate within our spirits, those are the things that can help us to actually to be over. So that's again, so as I'm listening to you guys say these things, I'm really taking notes. So y'all keep seeing me kind of go to the side because I'm taking notes. So I always take notes from my live streams because I like to put things together and put things into perspective. And so a lot of this is helpful because I know that there has been so many men that have crossed my live stream today. And I want to thank every man that has shared thus far because you're helping other men and women understand this. You're helping men because they have a relatable experience, but you're also helping us as women on how can we be a support and stand with you and not necessarily like you guys are saying you should handle this a particular way. No, you shouldn't. You know, we just need to be that support that you need and recognize and discern what you're going through. And we have to become better in how we tell you what to do. So I want to thank you for giving us a life lesson, like right now. Yeah, we're almost at the end of business, but I want to thank you for giving us a life lesson right now because it is so needed. Um, one of the things that I also, as a sub, I wanted to delve off into that I think is very huge and that I see amongst men, right? Uh, just discerning things that I see amongst men is loneliness. Loneliness. And I wanted to talk about loneliness, and this is the third piece of my conversation today. I wanted to talk about loneliness because Bird was like, oh, but good morning, Blackdale. I wanted to talk about loneliness because, you know, as a man, you're not an island, right? And so um, sometimes people have this unrealistic reality that you know, you're living your best life. You're living your best life. You got it all together and all these things. But there are so many men that I have encountered that actually are in a place to where they are not necessarily alone, but they are in this spirit of loneliness. And there's something that they're desiring. And so I want to remind those that are close to men that have those relationships to reach out to them, you know, whether they are a friend or a loved one, and because that really does make a difference. But what I would like to know from the men that are here in the stream this morning, as I'm delving off into this third subtopic of what we're on, is how do you deal with your loneliness? How do you deal with your loneliness, and like what happens in it? How do you recognize that you're being overcome by this feeling of loneliness? And then what do you do to actually come out of it? All right, Kenzo, come on. So that right there is like really a key thing that I wanted to know from a loneliness aspect. And I did not want to make this about myself. I wanted to make it about my men folks. Hey, Picasso.
Hey. So as far as dealing with loneliness, it's been great having like an app like this where we can just get together and just, even if you're just sitting in the background listening, it's like a lot of positive people in here. And sometimes you just want to hear something good from somebody.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I've been dealing with it. But at the same time, there's been in the past, it was kind of just throwing myself into work. But I asked the question earlier, it was like, what do you do when you lose the drive for your work? Because I love what I do. I'm not sure if I want to do it for the rest of my life.
Facts. I've been there. I get that. So, yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of your loneliness is a great time to actually figure out what you want to do with your life, like what
I like that
life you
point.
want to live. So it's not a bad thing being lonely. It's
Yeah.
just it's a it's a temporary state, and
Okay.
that temporary states change all the time.
But
Like you can be lonely right now and go hang out, but one of the things I try to do is seek out friends when I'm in that
mhm.
state. Somebody
Okay.
who's going to talk to me and tell me that, hey, I can see you doing this, I can see you doing that, but not necessarily just saying, oh, that's a great idea. Go for it, buddy. And just,
Right. You don't need a yes man, right?
okay, no yes man. Or,
Yeah.
but
I love
sometimes it's just,
that.
I mean, loneliness is temporary. That's my big thing.
And I love that you're giving that because that is the reality. It is temporary. Absolutely. Thank you, Picasso. Go
I've
ahead,
been
PhD.
alone all my life. No,
Gosh,
so
PhD.
loneliness, no, loneliness is very temporary, but I feel like this. I'm gonna give you, kudos, Picasso, because you're not being irrational. A lot of us, don't like our employers. But for me, it's like this, right? So I'm a consultant, so I travel around the US and I work for a lot of different companies, and there's a lot of personalities that are shit. A lot of people I do not like, but at the end of the day, it's a paycheck, right? So it's like this. You keep my checks coming so I can pay my bills. I'm good. So at this particular time, if you no longer like what you're doing, right, you work until something better comes along. There's a lot of people that are irrational. And I say that you're very irrational, Picasso, because some people will leave a job before they have anything else lined up. And then, woe
Mm.
is me, I can't find another job. I can't find somewhere else to work. Nobody else is hiring right now. Well, you should have did the research before, because that job, the
Before.
only thing that a job can give you right now is not necessarily peace, but it's going to give you a way to take care of your finances, because financial this is an additional stress. It's additional depression, right? Don't put yourself in a situation you can't, recoup from. And so, like you
That
said,
is
you were very
good.
logical in that. Like for me, if I did not no longer love that job, right? There's two things you can do, right? You can apply for something else within that, or I don't know if you like that company or not, see what else they have lined up or go somewhere else. But continue to do the best that you can do at your current employer, until something better comes along. So this is what I like to do too, though. So I don't know if it's a money thing, if it's just the atmosphere, if it's just the people. I don't know what it is that you don't like about that job, because you kind of didn't get into details about that. I'm a
Mhm.
senior consultant. So I'm a consultant for the pharma, med device, and biotech industry. So I wear different hats: auditing, validation, method development, and all kind of stuff. So I do all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Uh, but like I said, for me, I like that I have a temporary relief, because as soon as my 6 months are up with this company, guess what? F you guys, I don't got to see you no more. You know what I mean? So
So I like that the men are definitely stating that when it comes to the loneliness, like everything ties together, and I hope that every man and every woman that is here in the stream today have been able to receive some amazing nuggets. I know that I have, which is why I've been taking so many notes, and this is just very healthy information. Go
Uh,
ahead.
I'm gonna be the bad apple, y'all. I
Don't be
don't
the
take
bad apple.
loneliness.
Don't spoil the bag.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't take loneliness well, so I have two ways of handling it. First, I'm a master manipulator. So I manipulate companionship if I feel too lonely. I manipulate my way into having someone alongside of me, right? Someone that I feel like, okay, I'm giving affection to, where I'll make myself believe that it's real. I suck at loneliness. I'm telling you right now, I suck at it.
I
It's
thank
been
you for your
crazy.
honesty.
Right,
You're
right,
not
right.
alone.
Be real. I had to be real with it. So it's been crazy.
Okay.
The second thing I do though is after that's worn off, because it does wear off. You're like, okay, at a point in time, you're like, okay, this ain't it, because now I'm just using somebody, right? And
Right.
so when that wears off, I think it was Picasso that says you have to go off for yourself, and now you have to reinvent a vision, because once I've lost my drive for what I love to do, once I've lost that drive, then I have to figure out, well, what is in the meantime work that I can do so that it gives me satisfaction, because I can't always go to a companion, because at some point I'm gonna have to tell you the truth. Everything I've been telling you, I've been lying to you about, right? And then after that, it's like, well, my work is not cutting it. So now what's my insight? For me, I love nature. So I go on my walks, I go to little trails and stuff and catch some sun. And I just have to talk to myself, like, what can we do in between the time? That's just me though.
Yeah. I was trying to catch it.
Wow, wow, wow. Hey, look, hey, I again, thank you for being honest. Uh,
Absolutely.
it takes, a special kind of person to be able to, because I mean, like, honestly, men, as manipulative as we are, a lot of the times, depending on the situation, is very easy to be transparent as well, right?
Very.
Very easy. So a person holds on to something that they know they shouldn't, but they do it anyway. Um, so like these people that you're manipulating and you're telling them how it is just straight up. I mean, like, so it's like, what is the end result of those? Are these people that you are further damaging because of them thinking that there was
Right.
something
That
that
goes to
wasn't
my
really there?
question.
Because what you're
You
doing
my
right
head.
now is your manipulation. You're putting bad apples into the world because you're making these women now, you're telling them the truth and telling them all these false hopes and idolizations and stuff like that. Now they're back in the world damaged now because of what you did to them, right? Because I was lying. Because I mean, like, I understand being honest. I understand that completely,
Right.
but sometimes you can't be. Some things should not be said. So you shouldn't go out to that person because it's like, why do you go to that person and tell them everything I told you was a lie? Like that is definitely creating a very, very damaged person because if you sit there and say, hey, look, I'm sorry, I just can't get a certain way with you. It's the way you're talking to a person to make lessen the blow, but that's a very harsh thing that
Yeah, so that was one of the things that I did want to point out, that I appreciate his transparency, but in the fact that we want to help each other because, like he said, that's his gravitational pull, that where he desires his companion. And so one of the things that I actually share, Bird, is that in my space of loneliness, and I work on myself, which is one of the things that I do. I also realize that I not only have to work on self, but I also have to abstain. Like I have to put this body and crucify it, because you're not going to give in and be doing the most as far as that is concerned. On the other side of that, what we create is we do create this mistrust, right? So now you're dealing with the women that may come into your life that were very vulnerable with you, that wanted this
Hey, what's
relationship
up?
with
What's
you,
up? Where you two
and
from?
then now we have, you know, a reality that this person has now removed themselves from your life, and they don't trust you, and they could possibly lose respect for you. And you don't want a woman to ever lose respect for you, ever. Trust me.
cat
Ever.
trap. Some people, it says it takes time. Some people can never get past that hurdle of working on themselves. Some people will forever be in a state of working on themselves.
Working, and you
I
should.
think what
We're not
so
perfect,
people like
and you
that, this
should.
is what yeah. So I think in this situation and this and sometimes in this scenario, what it takes for Bird to see past that, because you got to understand how fast a person gives up. So when you tell a person everything I said to you was a lie, people know whether that was true or not, right? They know, I know not everything you told me was a lie. There's some people that are willing to go through and say, hey, look, I'm not going to believe everything you said. I'm going to be here for you regardless. And it takes somebody like that make a person look at the end result a little different. Now, everybody gives up immediately when he says that. He's going to keep spiraling down that same cycle. It's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. But the one moment that one person, because there had to be some type of attraction or something there to even get him to entertain that, even if it was false from the beginning. But the moment somebody says, hey, look, I understand what you've been through. I'm letting you know that I'm here for you, right? I'm a be by your side. I know that everything you told me wasn't bullshit. I know that everything, I can tell by the way that you treated me and the way that you acted. If somebody calls him out on this shit and says, I'm going to stay here, that person is more than likely going to be the one that captures his heart and changes his whole mentality. But it's going to take that one person. But who wants to go through that? We're in a very convenient society, a very convenient world. Who wants to sit here and be like, I'm going to be the one to try to fix your brokenness? I'm going to try to be the one to remove that layer from you. I'm going to try to be the one to change you. No, nobody wants to deal with all that work. But if somebody were to do that, then it would change this whole aspect, our whole viewpoint of life. But we're in a world.
Okay, I failed with the words. I use lie loosely, right? So when I said live, what I meant to say was what we have isn't something that is going to continue like as far as a lifetime partnership. Don't get me wrong.
So
When
you
I
let
turn
them know that what that
yeah
you have
yeah
this
yeah
and
yeah.
they're aware.
When I turned 16, I said it's not game if you have to lie to them for them to stay. It's when you can tell the truth to them and they choose to stay, right? So I always tell the truth, but the way I show affection in my loneliness is as though you're my wife. You understand what I'm saying? And so it puts on that aroma of this man ain't never gonna leave me. But then the day I have to come out of that and be like, look, I have to handle this now. I have to back away from you. Then that's where that breakage comes. Luckily, I've met some amazing women in my life that they understand me, like the ones that I deal with, they understand me to a T because I am open with them, very open with them. So they
How old are you,
understand
brother?
me. I'm 27, finna be 28.
Okay. You still got
They
some work to do. I get it.
they understand me to a T because when I started off, I say I'm gonna give you every tool to make the decision for yourself, whether you stay or whether you go. So I have to let them know everything up front, good or bad. And when they understand that, then they're like, okay, like PhD said, they do rock with me because they understand what state I'm in. And when
So
it's time
Bird,
to leave,
let
yes,
me
ma'am.
pause you.
Go ahead.
But there has to be some responsibility nonetheless. Even though you're telling them all those things, but you're giving them husbandly things. You
Mm.
got to take some responsibility for
Oh, yeah.
opening up like that. Come back. Hi, Keiko.
James Marson, what did you do with Big Chungus? We know you're the sus in.
I'm so fancy. You already know I'm in the fast lane from
Am I
LA to
getting pumped? Y'all, what is happening in the streets? I think somebody is trying to play with me. They have broke my dang box. Oh man. Woo, okay. Woosah. Let's try it again. I want to thank y'all again. Such an amazing, amazing stream. I really enjoyed it. Okay, Kat, go ahead. Thank
All
you.
right, y'all. So what I was gonna say, and this is gonna blow everybody's minds, but when you're lying in that way, you're not getting proper consent from women. So you're lying to them and hoaxing them into, probably being intimate with you, probably having a relationship with you. Like, not only is that morally wrong, but in some places it could be a crime. So just be mindful of that, because rape by deception is a thing. So that's all I was gonna say. And I also disagree with PhD.
Okay.
He's no one's responsibility. No woman should have to sit here and hold his hand through all that. There's professionals that deal with that, and if he's acknowledging that he has a problem, and then he's aware, he's self-aware, which is great. Like, these are all great things, and I give you kudos for that. Like, it's great that you're self-aware. But now you gotta take responsibility and do something about it, and no woman should be responsible for your healing, and to be patient and deal with all those things, because you're more likely to hurt them also. So um that's all I was going to say. I don't need all this
Yes,
time.
I do want to
Yes,
share with you
I
that.
do want to share
Thank
with
you,
you
son.
that. Thank you,
He
son.
didn't say that it's the
He did.
responsibility, but he did say if that woman is willing to stay through there, it should open up his eyes to realize that she absolutely is there for him because she's gone through that with him. So not that it's her responsibility, but that if that woman chooses to stay through all that, that should be an eye opener for him to realize that
It's just
she was
not it's
willing
just not
to
fair.
go through
It's
it.
just not fair to put that on
It's
someone.
not fair to her. I do agree. It is not fair at all. Woo.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you,
sorry.
Doc, for clearing that up because I was going to say that exact same thing. I never said anybody's.
I'm your advocate. You're my troll.
I'm not right. Right. Okay. So, so, so I'm not an advocate of nobody being responsible for anybody else's emotions. I'm not. I mean, and you know, like I said, unless you're married or you're going through something much deeper than just a dating aspect, I'm not responsible for how you feel. I'm responsible about how you feel about me. But as far as your outlook on life and oh, I need you to, I'm trying to trick you into staying here for. I'm not even for that. Not at all. Um, I feel like because we reverse the tables, right? So like this is what you know I hear a lot of the times is like women shouldn't be, but you got to understand men are doing that are in that same category, right? Men are having to a woman pick up a woman's pieces from her past relationship damage, or not damage. I'm going to say mistrust, or I'm going to say whatever happened in that past relationship. Men, because sometimes a woman will get mad at you and you won't even know why she's mad at you, and it won't have anything to do with you, right? So just saying that a man, so are we supposed to pack our bags every time that that happens for us? Right, Abyss, because I don't like the whole damage. I don't like all that kind of stuff. So change the terminology. But like I said, it's vice versa. Like you guys don't understand how men have to deal with this, you know, on a very higher facet, right? Because like I said, I ain't even gonna say his name, but you know, like when one man can make one woman hate all men, and then it takes that one man to
I
try to
understand.
get past that damage and get past that brokenness to get her to say, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I can feel loved again, or I can be loved again. We are definitely the quiet pieces for the most part, you know.
Yeah.
It's just cat, get out of here with that, because y'all are helping men in y'all marriage too.
Go ahead.
What's up? I feel like the end goal is not sexual, right? And we put that up front, right? The end goal is not sexual. When I say companionship, I mean definitely someone to confide in, someone to, if you will, relax with, and be able to be my vulnerable self. If
So
we're
your
talking,
companionship is not be
exactly,
intimacy.
it can be platonic, right? It can be platonic. Now, when I say that, when I say manipulation, I use it in a term of me understanding that when you get here, I'm going to have to let you know everything you're going to deal with. Now, I understand that it's not her job, and I tell her, look, I like it. Say I was talking to any lady here, I would say, look, it's crazy here. This is what I literally say. It's crazy here right now because of the state of mind I'm in. So I'm going to tell you, you can leave now. But if you choose for the sake of an attraction to me to continue to get to know me, now it's your job because you're making the choice to be worried about what I'm going through. Because I would do it for you. It's not something that's on an uneven playing field. If I'm attracted to you, but you got stuff like PhD said, baggage or things of that nature, and I say, you know what, I still want to pursue you. It's my choice to help you out of where you are, even if we make it in a relationship or not, because I'm still friends with the women that I talk about. Like we still call each other to this day and bounce off of their relationship. Hey, Judah, this is what I'm going through, or my relationship, sweetheart, this is what I'm going through. Da da da. It's nothing that breaks from us. It's just they have the understanding to make a decision whether they want to deal with all the stuff that I.
Hi there.
My box probably broke. Just whenever somebody come and lay in the bed and be like, "Where you from? Hi, dear. What's your name?" All that. That typically is the catalyst for a box becoming broke. The word out, out. Did you mean out of love? Is not being used quite often, and that's everlasting. We having technical difficulties, right? Oh, thank you guys. Listen, thank you. So I want to kind of like kind of go back like what we've already covered today. Just kind of redress. I want to thank you so much for your contributions. It's been amazing. We started this stream off talking about depression, and I can't tell you guys so much how I'm just so humble just to hear you to speak to it and to speak to your, you know, relatable experience to many men that are going through here that actually help them to open up to talk about it, and just some of the things that you've done to overcome it, and just what you've done to kind of journey through that, and to walk that path to not stay stuck. I appreciate you so much. And I really hope that I'm doing a great job of providing a space for you as men to definitely feel safe to actually have a conversation. That is my heart's desire. That's my purpose. And in addition to that, I really hope that all you men that do come in and you do share and you're a part of my streams, I hope you understand that you mean the world to me, genuinely. And so I would not be here if I didn't care about you. So I know I say thank you for tolerating me. I did look different because I had pink curls in my hair and I fluffed it out. Cat, don't do me. Don't do me because you saw me in my bonnet. I was just like, wait, them curls is popping. What's really going on? You did see me in the bonnet with the pink curls in. She came out and she fluffed her hair. Yes. Thank you, sweet love. No, my bad for throwing the bad guy out there, but we're working on it, Doc. I'm progressing. No. So, Bird, never apologize for your truth. Not in my stream. Do you hear me? Don't apologize for your truth. My hope is that as you express your truth, that there's a measure of accountability that we can help you, and that you'll learn something from it, and that you'll grow from it, and it'll make you better. That's my only thing. But just know you're never going to be judged. We may ask you questions because we try to understand this thing, but never apologize for your truth. Not in my stream. Yeah, yeah. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Kat. Yeah, because I love that when men are very self-aware. Because one of the things that I actually asked Bird is this. I asked some men, like, do they, like, sometimes we hear that men can express what they're going through, what their experience, kind of like what their truth is. And sometimes they don't know how to put it into words. They don't know how to put in what the reality is. So I can appreciate when you can actually come and tell me your truth, even if I don't like it. I don't have to like it, but the fact that you can explain what your truth is, that's what's up. And so many people are not there. You're not too far from my son. My son is 25, and I really try to hold him at a measure of accountability, and to tell him things, and to make sure that whatever he's doing, to know that whatever we do in life, good and bad, right? There's consequences for whatever we do. There's a consequence for it, something tied to it. And so I believe that we should leave from a place to where sometimes we do things and we just do it because we're going through the motions, but at the same time understand that you're accountable for everything that you do here on this earth, that it lies in your palm of accountability. It's on you. So whether good or bad, there is a consequence. And so I just want to make sure that we're always aware of that. So one thing that I want to make sure, when we're talking about depression, we're talking about your work, we're talking about loneliness, those are the three things that we discussed today. I want to make sure that we stay in the spirit of encouraging that if you have a support system, please make sure you're utilizing that support system. Please make sure that you don't stay in a place to where you're, in essence, by yourself. If you've been comfortable in being alone by yourself, know that sometimes the first part of you actually coming out of that place of isolation is reaching. So it's okay to reach. I want to encourage anyone that's in that place to where you may go into isolation, and you find yourself falling in, know that it's always okay for you to begin to reach, because there's someone who cares about you that's there to pull your hand and say, I got you. You're not gonna walk this journey by yourself. Like, I'm gonna walk this thing with you. Whether you want me to be silent in this moment, whether you want me to pray in this moment, whether you want me to speak, what do you need from me? And so she said, not in my case. Okay, not in her business case, but in my case, listen. So in my reality, I just want you to know that at the end of the day, that it's okay to reach. It's okay to reach. And and you're not on this earth by yourself. You're really not. There are people who really do care about you. And so with that being said, um, continue in your greatness, continue pursuing your greatness, continue walking your path. um, I'm very grateful. I started the stream at 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I know that this was a powerful stream, very fruitful, because we've already almost four views away from a 500 view in 2 hours. That's what's up. So my time here. Listen, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. We hit that thing, and I'm humble. Thank you, Picasso. Enjoy your meeting, love. So yeah, I'm there. I'll probably sit on for another 30 minutes and chill out, answer any questions that any of you guys may have if you want to, keep talking. But as far as our therapy session today, the men have spoken, okay? And when they speak, we gotta listen. And I love it. I love it. I'm here for it. So I'm so thankful for the contributions that happened today. And I'm thankful that we were able to do this in 2 hours and hit our view capacity of 500 views this morning. So thank you to all my amazing gifters that come in by way of, whether it's the gift, whether it's your conversation, whether it's holding hearts, whatever. Thank you so much for your support, because we are able to do the things that we are able to do here because you're here. And so I do thank you so much for that. Ah, there it goes, 501.